We're just past the middle of May, and I thought I'd give you an update on how everything's growing. So we'll have a little tour of the garden. In the cucumber greenhouse, if you look, the plants are now starting to take off. Although I planted these out end of April, it was a little bit cold then for a while, so they sort of have taken their time, but as you can see now, they're now sticking shoots up, and in this lovely hot weather now, they should kick on. Along here, these are now the chili and the sweet. These are the sweet pepper ones in the container. These are the chili ones, and as you can see, they're all now starting to kick off. I've got some seedlings here. I've just got a bit of fleece over them just to stop them burning in the sunshine. Those are pumpkins, and I've got a few spare tomatoes and things. And my vine has sort of kicked into life and is now spreading out. As you can see, the tomato greenhouses, the tomatoes are now increasing in size. They're about 2 foot high now, these are, and I've been knocking the little side shoots out to stop them bushing, and I've been tying them in as they go. So this side's well, about the same really. The ones at the back there slightly less, and then some of these along here. And again, the varieties I've got, most of them are cherry. I've got some plum, and then I've got a row of beef tomatoes. So they're all pretty good. These are my runner beans, and as you see, I've got them out in the day to do what's called hardening off. And what it means basically is that they've been in a hot greenhouse to grow this big, and if I just put them straight in the ground, in the outdoor weather, it's likely to shock them a bit. So what you do is you put them out in the day, back in the greenhouse at night, just for a few days before you plant them. And I'm hoping to plant these now in the next day or so. In the bottom bed here, the onions are now starting to spurt on a bit. A few little bits of weed coming through the hole I need to do, but on the whole, it's minor work. Here's the sprouts and the broccoli under the netting to stop the butterflies and caterpillars getting on them. They're doing okay. Sweet corn, planted these about a week ago. They're looking good. Peas. Peas have been a little bit slow, but now they're in this heat, they've taken off. And again, it's partly because end of April, early May was a little bit on the chillier side, whereas it's not too bad now. And I've got the same problem with the broad beans when I get to that, but in this weather they'll catch up, and we'll be harvesting them, I suspect, in late June, early July. Then courgettes are in. I planted them out the other day, so those again should start to grow. These are where the runner beans are going, and of course I had the sticks up, but I haven't put them in. These will be going in now this week. And if we go across here to the garlic, now these are quite impressive. They're quite tall now, and what you find this time of year, they sometimes put up a seed spike. If they do, and I'll show you this in a video a bit later on, if they do, cut it off and use it as garlic, because it's you can. It's and you don't want them to go to seed, you want them to make the bulbs. But if they put up a spike, and I'll show you on a video later in the month. Oh, hang on, here we go. Here's one. So if you look at that there, that is a spike that's going to go to seed. If you get one of them, snap it off and use that as garlic, because it smells absolutely wonderful. What it does, it stops it going to seed, it puts more effort into the root. So as a little job at the moment, it's just to have a look at them. And whilst I'm talking to you, I've just found another. There's another one. So again, I shall snap that off and use it as a piece of garlic. So yeah, that's the only things you need to do with these. And of course then there's some onions on the side there. Remember in February I cut back these to the ground. These are the autumn fruiting raspberries, and as you can see they're all now well on the way. These are the second early potatoes I put in, and they've all got their heads up now, and it won't be long before they'll cover most of this membrane. As second earlies, you tend to harvest these when they flower. I'd expect them to flower now in the next probably month. Broad beans, some good, some bad. A lot of flower on them. Again, knocked by the cold a little bit, so they've been taking a bit of time to get going. I have tied them in, and again, now in this weather, they should catch up. I'll be hoping for a good crop of apples this year. As you can see, this tree is plastered in blossom, and if you look at the other apple trees, they've all put out a lot of blossom this year. So with a bit of luck, we get some good apples. As you can see, there's a lot of us dropping now. Here I've got a red Acer there, which has come out lovely, and they've got a green one there. So look at this time of year, there's a nice azalea. The magnolia is about going over because the petals, that's been in flower now for a little while. And I've got my copper beeches opened. And as we go through here, you can see there's a nice azalea just opened here. And I don't know what that thing next to it, but in the white is, but that looks nice. And then of course I've got the laburnums, which aren't yet open, but if you look, they're not far off. Once these open, there'll be the golden chain. I suspect they're a few days away from being open. Here's a lilac tree, and again there's another laburnum next to it. And of course I've got my larch, which is a really nice tree. Herbs here. I do two things with herbs really. Some I've grown from seed and plants, like they've got the thyme. Others, like the sage and that oregano, I've basically just bought them and stuck them in a big pot. Similarly with over here I've got parsley. The supermarkets, they do, you just buy a couple of pots, that's 2 pots worth in there. Buy a couple of pots, plant them out, and then you've got parsley all summer.